Thanksgiving game previews with the boys. Finally get to join all of them for the first time. They've been in the basement, taking over my house, doing shows. Joe brought everybody in. I just returned back, and I'm here with them. So I'm glad to be with Dan and Joey and Joe and Josh. They've been doing great stuff on Mondays, breaking down the previous weeks. But for tonight, we'll be breaking down all the Thanksgiving preview, all the Thanksgiving games. We'll be giving you some player news, going over some waiver wire, FAAB, and also at the end of the show, after the previews, we'll break down Turkey Day Bonanza lineup on NFC, high stakes for 10 grand. So it'll be interesting to see. Don't copy our lineups because we'll probably lose anyway. So you might as well just fade us. That's your best method. I think there's like 600 total entries, so it should be pretty interesting. There's lots of different combos. Obviously, the more you put in, the better. But guys, like, subscribe, share. Appreciate everybody joining us tonight. If you have any questions, jump in the chat. Ask whatever you want. We'll get to it. We'll come back on the other side. Fantasy Savvy on X. Let's go. Okay, what's going on, fellas? Good to be with you finally.
I gotta say, Steve, we gotta work on a new intro, man. There's way too much Josh Allen in there. Not enough New England Patriots.
I'll throw a Drake May in there in the next one for you, or a Trevion. It's up to you, man. Whatever you want, or even a Boudet we could put in there as well. But what's going on, Joe?
Same shit, man. Looking forward to tonight's show. I put together a couple of pretty good props. I actually took the time to do it. I didn't just on the fly wing it like last night. So yeah, looking forward to it. Got a couple of deep waivers. Nothing obvious. Just kind of deep waivers. One guy has to do with finalizing your roster for those leagues like the high stakes leagues where once the playoffs start, you can't pick up any more players. So there's a lot of strategy that goes involved in that, handcuffs and whatnot that you want, backups and handcuffs that you want to make sure you have rostered, because if something happens in week 14, week 15, or week 16, you can't go out and grab anybody. So there's a lot that goes into that.
Yeah, and FFPC, the playoffs start this week, but you can still make playoffs for the next 2 weeks, which is good. Josh, what's going on by you, man? How's everything going?
Everything in life is going good. It's been a few rough weeks in fantasy for me, but other than that, things are good, man. I'm excited. I love the Turkey Day Bonanza. I enjoy it every year. I had a couple teams that have finished just outside of the money the last couple of years. So hopefully this is the year we get some cash.
Yeah, 100. What's going on, Dan? Glad to be with you for the first time. Do you guys both live in Ohio?
Yeah.
You, Josh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we're about half hour apart, 20 minutes apart. We watch every Sunday. Josh is at my basement. We're watching football on multi-screens, and we've been doing that for several years.
That's the best, man. I grew up doing that by my brother's house every Sunday, going, watching all the games. Also the NCAA tournament. There's nothing better than that.
Yep.
You bring
Steve,
everybody
we've
comes
been doing
over.
Huh? We've been doing it so long. We were together the first year ever of NFL Ticket, which was what, like 20?
Oh, that's sick.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Before that, you had to go to the sports bars to watch it with the satellites, right? That was the only way to watch the game.
Yep.
And Joe, where are you at? You're in Kentucky, right?
I'm in Kentucky. I'm about 2 hours from Lexington.
Nice. Never been to Kentucky. Been to Ohio. I've been to Cleveland. I spent some time out there one summer working out there. Checked out the Hall of Fame. Went to an Indians game. But that was pretty much it. That was the only part of Ohio I was really in. But never been to Kentucky. I've been to Boston, where Joe's from, a few times. I haven't been there in a long ass time. Never got my ass to Fenway though, but maybe one day.
We'll have to go, man, because now that I'm back with Coca-Cola, I can get us some really, really nice seats to, Red Sox and Coca-Cola, big, they're tight together. They're the official drink, or whatever you call it, sponsor drink of the Red Sox. So they're all over Fenway Park, good seats. So when you want to come up here, let me know. We can even, make it a Red Sox-Yankees game.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Yeah, maybe next summer. We'll see. All right, let's get into some news here. George Pickens returns to practice today. Obviously, that's big news. He's starting to make himself known, truly known. I mean, Pickens has always been very, very talented, but now he's just exploding on the field and he's surpassing CeeDee Lamb. We'll see if he can keep that up the rest of the year. Lamar Jackson also returns to practice, which is obviously huge. But we expect him to play, but he's been banged up with all different types of ailments. Rashee Rice is fine. It looks like he's back. He had a little bit of a hammy injury. Isaiah Pacheco looks like he's going to play on Thanksgiving as well. And Jaden Reed sounds like he could play on Thursday as well. We'll have to wait and see, but it's kind of up in the air. But there's a strong possibility he could play. So if you picked him up, maybe we can use him, especially after what we just saw Wan'Dale Robinson do against the Lions. So maybe Jaden Reed could do something here on Thanksgiving. All right, some waiver stuff real quick. I guess I'll start with you, Joe. Who's really like popping out to you on the waiver wire this week? Because it's kind of an interesting waiver. And, we only got a couple weeks left, like you said. So it's time to drop that money if you still haven't, if you've been kind of shy spending that money.
Well, I mean, like obvious ones are probably like Devin Neal, with Kamara going down. If he's available, obviously you got to drop the bag on him, especially if you need a running back. He's probably gonna get most of the first team reps. I don't see anybody else healthy. I mean, Taysom Hill maybe get some goal line carries, but I'm not like super confident in him, producing fantasy wise, but he's gonna at least have the volume and the opportunity to do so. So if you're desperate, obviously he's the low hanging fruit. I looked over a couple of my teams so far when you mentioned you wanted to go over waivers on high stakes just to see who's available. There's not much available. I went pretty deep. A couple names that stuck out to me: wide receiver for the New York Giants, Isaiah Hodgins. He's got back-to-back weeks with over 10 fantasy points. I think he got 10 and 12. He did get in the end zone once. We know just from the past, he's a pretty good red zone target. He knows how to score touchdowns inside the red zone. Six targets in both games. So, if you're looking to add some depth, he's consistently been in the 3 wide receiver sets. So, with Jackson Dott possibly coming back from concussion, I could see him sustaining his production. So Isaiah Hodgins is a guy I'm in on. And 2 tight ends I'm in on. One is more for Trey McBride owners. If you're a Trey McBride owner and you most likely don't have the greatest backup tight end because you probably were like, all right, I don't need to waste another draft pick on tight end because I got McBride. Maybe you picked up somebody along the way and you have a decent backup, but if not, I would go out and get Elijah Higgins, especially if the free agent moves lock once the playoffs start, because I'm a believer that if Trey McBride were to miss time, Elijah Higgins can give borderline tight end 1 numbers. And, the tight end is a big part of their offense, obviously. He's not going to be Trey McBride, but I do think that he would be able to, you'd be able to plug him in and play him, and if you didn't have any better option. So that's one that I'm considering at this point in the season, a couple of weeks away. Might want to just go out and get him now just to lock him up and stash him on your bench. And the other is another tight end, Mike Gesicki. He was available in a couple of the leagues that I looked at. I think with T. Higgins getting injured, he's, He did finish the game this past week with 6 targets, 4 catches for 35 yards. I could see him, earning somewhere between 5 and 8 targets with T. Higgins out. Possibility Joe Burrow's back as well. Definitely gives him a little boost. So Mike Gesicki, Isaiah Hodgins, and Elijah Higgins are the guys I'm looking at that stuck out to me. So I'll leave.
Higgins is an interesting one, definitely. I mean, if you're a McBride owner, that's kind of a smart move because if he goes down, and Higgins is a very athletic. So, yeah, I like that one. That's a different one. Joey, how about you, man? Who are you looking at this week on the wire?
Well, I'm gonna go deep here. I mean, this is deep waters, but old name, but like Isaiah Hodgins, but need to keep up with Ashton Genty. Zamir White could be deep sleeper, or Raheem Mostert. They're saying it could be a high ankle sprain, but who knows with Genty. So, those running backs, you're always trying to pull out the hat, find you a running back this time of year. So,
yeah, for sure.
Zamir White could be a cheap ad based on see what happens this week in injuries, and people may fall asleep, not even think about waivers with family in Thanksgiving, so you might be able to get him real cheap based on the injury reports.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's thinking about Zamir White. So, but yeah, if you're a Genty owner, 100%. Like I had Marshall and Lloyd stacked on like all these rosters for weeks upon weeks, waiting for this guy to come back. But the dude is always constantly hurt.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's a good one, Zamir White. I mean, if you're a Genty owner, it makes sense. Handcuff him at this point. If you got some waste, drop him. Anything else you got out there, or you want me to move on to Dan?
Just move on. You can let this other guy see what they got.
All right, Dan, what do you got, man? Anybody
I got
about
two names. Two names I'm looking at for waivers tomorrow or FAAB. Brenton Strange is a guy that we grabbed in a couple leagues last week for basically $1. We got a couple teams that are really tight and needy. You're gonna have to spend up this week to get them. Yeah. But with that Jacksonville receiving crew and all the injuries, I think Brenton Strange is probably their 3, maybe even their 2 for Jacksonville. So I would spend good money for Brenton Strange. And then one I've been kind of racking my brain on a little bit. We go back about 3 or 4 years ago and think about when St. Brown had that rookie year, and he did. I think it was week 13, maybe. I haven't looked it up, but week 13 he had that just amazing finish that won people a lot of money. And ever since then, there's been one rookie receiver, at least, if not 2, the last 4 or 5 weeks of the year that's came from nowhere. So I'm not talking, the Malik Neighbors guys of the world, things like that. So I was kind of sitting there thinking, like, who's a candidate for that? And he's coming off bye, so people are forgetting about Pat Bryant.
Right.
Yeah,
I like what I see with Pat Bryant. I like how they've been working him in the last couple of weeks. I think I told Josh the other day, like, that's a guy that I'm looking for next year already. I think Pat Bryant's got the skill set. Nick seems to trust him a little bit more. So throw a couple bucks on him. Maybe he's the next St. Brown. I know that's some big shoes to fill, but I think there's a lot worse darts you could throw than Pat Bryant out there right now.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Pat Bryant is a guy I was targeting and liked a lot, and before the drafts, and just hasn't been utilized. So I had to drop him. I picked him up in some spots, and I think Peyton realizes he has to start using him a little bit more. He certainly is capable. Has the athletic profile. Was a nice prospect. So yeah, that's a nice one if he's still definitely out there. And then Brenton Strange, of course. I mean, he just keeps producing. So had a nice game. 90 yards this week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's going to keep it pumping. And, Lawrence, that's kind of a nice easy target for him. Josh, what do you got?
I got 2. Wide receiver, John Mechie. He's I think he's in a good spot. I'll talk good about the Jets a little bit. I was on them a little hard a couple weeks ago on Steve's Jets. So
it's all right, man.
But I think John Mechie's an interesting
shit all over them if you want.
Mechie's an interesting ad right now. And then Colby Parkinson, that's another tight end that they've got the 3 tight ends there in LA. that they use consistently, but it seems like Parkinson's starting to pick up with the more important targets and things like that. And now that we're going into that home stretch, I think maybe you see these guys kind of get seated in their roles. So Parkinson could be somebody that'd be interesting to take with you into the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah, I know Higbee was out last week, so maybe Parkinson's got a little bit more.
Did Higbee start the week before, like in the middle of the game? Because I can't remember, but it feels like it's 2 or 3 weeks now. I've seen Parkinson get some.
I'm not sure. I mean, they kind of mix in all three of those guys. They're playing a lot of that 13 personnel. I mean, seems like Ferguson has the most potential, but they're not just. I mean, all those guys are just kind of solid. But yeah, I mean, if Higbee's going to be out, I think Parkinson's kind of interesting. Then John Mechie. I mean, I've been rooting for this guy for a while.
Yeah, you have.
Tore his ACL. I think his last year at Alabama, and then he had cancer. He overcame that. So, he's shown flashes, but just never really did anything. He ends up on the Jets and, back-to-back weeks with touchdowns. They have nobody else to throw to. Adonai Mitchell's, he's there too. He's not a bad name either. But, yeah, Mechie, I think, could be pretty steady. And this is that Lions offense with Engstrand, so it could be maybe get that St. Brown role a little bit. So I don't mind that one either. I think you guys listed most of the names I was kind of thinking about. DK is maybe another one. He had another return touchdown. Maybe he was dropped. You could pick him back up. He also had a regular touchdown as well. But this guy is definitely an electric player. Jaden Higgins, if he's still out there, I mean, he's probably snatched up in most leagues, just 22% in Yahoo leagues. We all know Yahoo leagues, though. Like, there's so many free leagues, and people just, stop paying attention to their team. But that's a name. This kid could start to really emerge down the stretch. Darren Waller, just 20% owned. If you need a tight end, it sounds like he could be working his way back pretty soon. We saw what he did earlier in the year. That's really, I mean, Jaden Reed's still floating around, obviously. It sounds like he may play this week. So, but he's 36% owned in Yahoo and in our high stakes leagues. Maybe one league he's out there. He's not going to be out there often. So, yeah, I think we got that pretty well covered there. So, any other names we missed, or should we move on to the games?
Can move on to the games.
Go
ahead, Joe.
Only other one wide receiver, going back to what Dan said, Pat Bryant. The only other one out there, take an injury deep down in the season, but Trey Harris is another name. He has been playing a little bit more. Keenan Allen's getting up there. Quentin Johnson's a no-show donut lately. So,
yeah.
And Marion Hampton, he's fine. He's back too. Player news opened up his window today too. So, but Trey Harris could be interesting. Also, I said this before. For y'all deep run, hopefully y'all get in the playoff shootouts. Says New Orleans defense for the later on in the shootouts, and they have had 14 and 12 the last 2 weeks. So their playoff schedule is really good. 15, 16, 17.
Yeah, no, New Orleans. I heard you talking about that last week, and then I looked at it. I actually picked them up in a couple spots, so I like that one.
I did too. Yeah. John Mechie, I picked up last week too. And I don't know if I'm ever going to start him, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
It's definitely
it's good. It's good. That's the other thing too. We got to realize, like, sometimes it's just good to play keep away from the other teams, like Jacoby Brissett. Like, I didn't need him in some spots, but now, like, I see other guys using them, and they're killing it with them. So, like, you prevent them from getting those points by snatching these guys up sometimes, and it's almost better than having some of these cuffs just playing defense. On some of the other owners. So,
it's all about game script. That's really what fantasy is. It's game script based on what like. That's a piece of offense to really have. Arizona. Then going back to Josh's point with Parkinson, any piece you can get off the wire for the Rams, I mean, you ain't gonna get a whole lot, but Higbee is on IR, so he's on IR.
Yeah, true. He's on IR. That's right. So yeah, no, that makes even more sense for Parkinson. He's nobody's gonna really owns Parkinson right now. So yeah, you get him cheap.
14% on him, and he's Parkinson's 5% on.
Yeah, maybe the Rams will start using Ferguson a little bit later on, but I think they're going to continue to using the veterans like Parkinson for now. What do you guys think about Taysom Hill? I mean, now with the Kamara injury, do you just think he's too old at this point, or do you think he's worth the pickup? Joe, what do you think?
I don't know. I've never really been in on Taysom Hill, even that was it two seasons ago where he stranded together a few games where he got in the end zone. I mean, he's touchdown dependent. I suppose if he's tight end eligible, he might be worth a look, depending on your needs. If you need a tight end, because like I said, I do see him being involved, near the goal line with Devin. It's not going to be all Devin Neal, I don't think. They've always found ways to use Taysom Hill, but as far as a fantasy asset goes, probably not somebody I'm going to trust. But like I said, if you're needy and he's tight end eligible, I guess he's worth a dot throw.
Yeah. Yeah. I was in a hospital, 3-4 years ago, my mom, and the nurse she's like, oh yeah, one of my cousins plays in the NFL. I'm like, who's that? She's like, it's Taysom Hill. I'm like, oh wow, that's sick. And she's like, yeah, he was an unbelievable athlete in high school, growing up, but his brother was even better, she said.
I heard that, yeah.
But his brother passed away, I think, when he was like 18 or something. I don't know what happened, but yeah, she was telling me. But yeah, no, I mean, he's just so hard to predict. He hasn't really had a big game all year, and he's usually due for like one or two monster performances. So if you want to take a shot on him, I don't mind it. What about Dameon Pierce? Actually, maybe we could touch on him real quick. Chiefs just signed him. Is there any interest there? Dan?
I was trying to figure out why they signed him. If Pacheco's going to be active, what's the role Pierce is playing? Practice squad? I don't know.
I don't know. I've never liked Dameon Pierce.
Me either.
I'll stay away.
You don't want to ask me.
I don't know why the Chiefs continue to throw CEH out there. And every time Bashard Smith touches the ball, he kind of looks like he had I think it was like a 15-yard catch called back. I think he's like 3 or 4 of those this year. But I really think Andy Reid's just waiting to the end of the year to really use Smith. But it might be too late at that point. So hopefully, he gets CH off the field. Obviously, he trusts him. CH, he knows the system. But it's just ugly out there. But yeah, I like that Trey Harris call, Joey. He could maybe get a little bit more work off the bye week. He's obviously talented. Yoshivas, obviously, if he's still out there, just 20% owned this week would be a good one. If Luther Burden's still out there, actually just 11% on Yahoo, which is kind of surprising.
Luther Burden's a nice stash. I like that call.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of low for Yahoo, 11%. I thought he'd be a little bit higher. DK is actually higher owned, which is surprising. Greg Dortch had a nice game. As long as Harrison continues to be out, just 9%. Obviously, Michael Wilson's probably snatched up in most leagues at this point. And then, Tyler Lockett, if you're desperate, 2%, actually had 62 yards last week on 5 targets. So just one more there. And then maybe Malik Washington. But Malik Washington just gives you those 4 for 30 games or 6 for 40 games. But, he can make a big play every now and then. All right, let's get into the games now here on Thanksgiving. And Green Bay, Detroit will be the first game. The game's at 1 o'clock. Don't these games normally start 12:30 in the past? They moved it back a little bit.
A little earlier, yeah. This is a later start.
Yeah, and it's
usually a 12 o'clock start, I believe.
I was looking at it earlier. The Lions have been playing on Thanksgiving pretty much every year since 1934, which is pretty crazy. It was looking like 1939 and 1940. They didn't play, maybe because of the World War. I don't know. But, pretty much every year since 1934, they've been on. And, we're kind of used to the Lions just getting spanked. Joey Harrington, all these different types of Lions on Thanksgiving, but it's always the first game. It's good to, before you go to your aunt's house, your cousin's house, whatever it is, or you're hosting, you're putting out the appetizers. You got the 12:15 or 12:30 game, and now this year 1:00 with the Lions. But we get Green Bay versus the Lions here, and past couple of matchups between these two teams, they played actually in the opener. Green Bay won 27-13, and in Green Bay, Goff was 31 of 39, 225, 1 touchdown. Montgomery 11 for 25. Gibbs just 9 for 19. Laporta, he's obviously out for the year now, but 6 for 79. St. Brown 4 for 45. Gibbs caught 10 balls for 31 yards. And then J-Mo was 4 for 23. And then Love was 16 of 22, 188, 2 touchdowns. Jacobs 19 of 66 and a touchdown. Dobbs 2 for 68. Jaden Reed was in that game, 3 for 45 and 1 touchdown. And, Christian Watson wasn't back at that point. So, Joe, I'll go to you first. Do you think the Lions get revenge here? How do you see this game going? And you could drop your pick or prop in this game as well.
All right. Yeah. So I do think Detroit wins this game. The over-under is 49. I like the under in this. I don't think it's going to go that high. It's probably that high because it's in Detroit, and, Jared Goff usually lights it up. But Green Bay is pretty solid against the pass. Yeah, I think that they're a little bit more susceptible against the run than the pass. They overall have a pretty good, solid defense. Jordan Love doesn't really move the needle for me as far as explosiveness goes. And Detroit's defense, though it's been inconsistent, is pretty solid in my mind, especially at home. So I could see this. Both teams also like to really run a lot. Green Bay runs a shit ton. Detroit will run if it's effective and they're playing with the lead. So I see it kind of playing out that way. I think that Detroit probably wins. I'm going to say something like 24 to 14. 24 to 16, 24 to 17, somewhere in that range. My player props is actually it's a 2-leg parlay. I like Montgomery and Gibbs anytime touchdown parlay, both of them. Devin Singletary scored 2 touchdowns on Green Bay 2 weeks ago by himself. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, Green Bay's more susceptible against the run than they are the pass. And Gibbs has been a monster. Montgomery, not so much, hasn't been involved all that much, but I do think that he can get in the end zone if he's going to get an opportunity to get in the end zone. So I like the Montgomery Gibbs anytime touchdown 2-leg parlay. It's plus 276 on DraftKings. What else? There's another one too. I got another one. Another 2-legger I like in this game is Jared Goff and Jordan Love each to throw an interception. That's nice. That's plus 305.
I think I like
now.
that
Jordan Love's only thrown 3 picks all year, but if I'm reading this right and Detroit is playing with the lead, then it's going to lead Jordan Love to his pass attempts to come up a little bit, and maybe he's going to force some balls.
Throw one off his back foot like he usually does up to Watson.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I'm reading the game, how I see it's going to play out. So I like both of those. I'm surprised that the interception one is actually that high. Plus 305 is really good odds for both of these quarterbacks to throw a pick. I'm pretty sure Goff threw a pick in week 1 against Green Bay. So I could see it definitely happening again, unless they're completely beating up Green Bay. But Green Bay's defense is good enough that I don't think that they're going to get beat up. So. Plus, like I said, I see a lot of rushing attempts in this game, not so many passing attempts. I'm not quite sure where the 49-point over-under comes from, but, Vegas always knows something that we don't. So,
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, I mean, last time they played in Detroit, December of last year, it was 34-31. Detroit, Goff threw for 283 and 3 touchdowns. Love had 206 and a touchdown. But, obviously they bring in Micah Parsons. Now, Parsons was going off on the Vikings last week, and Darisaw got hurt, and it just made everything freaking worse for them. But, yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you. That total definitely seems kind of high to me, 48.5. But, definitely could go over with Detroit. They could get things going. Maybe Love starts getting going. We just saw what Jameson Winston did to this Lions defense last week. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not – Love kind of just scares me too. But this game could turn into a shootout. Dan, what do you think? How do you see this game going, and what kind of picks you got in this game?
One really cool stat I heard this morning, and I wish I could remember who said it to give him credit, but this would apply to the Ravens and the Lions. On Thanksgiving, you obviously have a short week, but you have even a shorter week because they're playing at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, whatever time they're playing. If you're a home favorite, you are 80% against the money line, and you're 65% against the spread. So that's telling me the Lions are going to win. They're going to cover. I think the Lions win a pretty easy game. Jordan Love hasn't looked great to me. Kind of like Joe said, he's just not passing the eye test for me. But one guy that I've been watching the last couple of weeks that I was not a fan of until this year is I love how Christian Watson's playing. So my parlay, or not my parlay, but my prop, you can spin this one of two ways, and I'm debating on how to play it. But his over-under at 52.5, like Joe said, if they're going to be down most of this game, I mean, Love's going to have – 35, 40 pass attempts. I think that should be easy for Watson to get. Even if Jaden Reed plays, I think that might even help Watson on the outside. But I think how I'm going to personally spin it, for the last couple of weeks, we've been hitting that longest catch. It's a high number for Christian Watson. It's 25 yards for his longest catch is minus 112. But he's hit that 3 of the last 5 weeks. So if this game plays out like it's so far, like the two of us are thinking, I think he's going to have at least 2 or 3 shots for that long catch. And all it takes is one play, one broken play. We're not worried about his overall yards. But either way, I think Christian Watson's going to hit both those numbers and produce a pretty good game with 4 or 5 catches.
What was the longest catch number?
25.
All right.
Usually I like to play him around 20, 21, 22. But I think with him, like I said, he's hit it 3 of the last 5. And, man, watching those games, they're just taking shots to him at least 3 or 4 times a game. All he's got to do is connect one.
Yeah, I noticed with Watson, his pattern in his career is usually like he'll be hurt like he was this year again, and then he'll come back like 3-4 games and he'll start to heat up, and then maybe that 4th or 5th game he just has like a monster game or 2, and then he usually gets hurt again, and then it just goes off. But yeah, I like Watson. I kind of like that prop as well. Jordan Love, man, watching that game last week, he didn't play that well at all. I mean, you could argue he wasn't even that much better than McCarthy, who everybody and their mother is trashing right now. So, Josh, what do you got in this game?
All right, I like Gibbs on his receptions over 4.5. You guys talked about how he had 10 in the first matchup this year. I like him to get 4.5 catches. I think the Lions get up, and Hutchinson just gets to eat, just gets to go after Love. And I like your interceptions, Joe. I like that in this game too. I can see where Micah Parsons can be forcing Goff if the tables are turned, and I like that. That Love lofts one up there. It'll be real interesting if Jaden Reed gets to play, and how much he's out there, and how they, if they can get him the ball. That's an added little wrinkle that could make Thanksgiving a little bit interesting, I think.
Yeah, Gibbs has been flying as a receiver. Dan Campbell just has been unleashing him. What was the total on that receptions you said?
It's 4.5, and Dan brought up a good point a week or two ago when Laporta went out, that Gibbs was going to be the guy that was going to kind of reap the benefits of that, and we saw it again on Sunday. So I don't think by no means he has what he had even the first time they played Green Bay, let alone what he did last week. But I think he can hit 5 catches.
Would you use Jaden Reed if he's starting in this game? Would you throw him in your fantasy lineups? I mean, it depends what you have, but how comfortable do you feel about
Well,
using
going back to last year, it's like Jaden Reed would disappear at times. Like they wouldn't use him. You wouldn't see him. I mean, we'd have to go back and dig up, how many routes run, how many plays he was on the field. But it's like, man, that guy's got so much potential and he's good. We've seen it.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, they just shy away from him for quarters and halves at a time.
He's usually hovers between 55 and 68% snap share. So if he does play, I don't see it affecting how much he's on the field, because he doesn't really he comes when it's two wide receiver sets, it's Dobbs and Watson, it's not Jaden Reed. He comes off the field. And like I said, they're running the ball as much as they can. I know that Tucker Kraft isn't in the picture now. The last time we saw Jaden Reed, Tucker Kraft was healthy. So it could mean more targets and opportunities for Jaden Reed, but I think his snap share probably stays the same. So, like Steve said, if you got a hole in your flex spot this week, then, maybe you roll the dice with him if he plays, but because it's not like they're going to slowly work him in, because I think, his snap share is what it is. His snap share indicates somebody that has a full snap share coming off of an injury. It's equal to that. So I just don't think, it affects how much he's used. So if he's out there, he's probably going to give you similar results as if he was fully healthy.
Yeah, and LaFleur basically said, we'll wait and see. We'll see what happens. So I think he's going to play. This is a huge game. Love kind of looks like his best when he does have Reed out there and Watson. Obviously, no Kraft, which obviously, Musgrave has not even done anything to come close. They're using like Josh Weil and this other guy Fitzpatrick out there. So Musgrave is just like dust out there. Tucker Kraft was a huge, freaking gigantic loss for them and for fantasy owners. I mean, he was such a value at tight end this year. Joey, Josh Jacobs looks like he's going to play. Now, if you're an Emmanuel Wilson owner, are you just completely benching him, or are you kind of thinking about still maybe using Wilson here in the short week, even when Jacobs comes back?
That's a good question. I don't know how to answer that, really. I mean, I guess if Jacobs plays, he's going to be. I guess Green Bay's pretty tough on their watching people with injuries. They've always been cautious with everybody in the past. So if they think Jacobs is good enough to go, it's probably his show to to carry the load. But I would think you still sprinkle in a few touches for Emmanuel Wilson, especially after as good as he looked last week.
Yeah. I think it would be mostly Jacobs. Like Wilson could probably, maybe get 5, 6, 7 carries and could fall in the end zone, I guess. But I would expect, you pay attention to the reports.
Right.
If they say, Jacobs is full go, or, he may be limited, then maybe you think about Wilson. But how do you see this game going? What do you got here in this game?
Well, I'm going to go on the island here, big different. I'm going to go. I like Jordan Love this game. I mean, he had almost 22 points in the first meeting. Detroit's 24th against the pass. And especially, if Jacobs ain't fully healthy, and plus you got game script, like I said earlier, if you get a good golf who plays better indoors, I mean, it could be a track meet a little bit. Both teams are great against the run, which Gibbs is going to be involved in the passing game. So I like Love this week, and my prop was, sort of like Dan's, but I went anytime touchdown for Christian Watson. Plus 215.
Plus 215. All right.
Yeah. Anytime touchdown for Christian Watson. But I do like Jordan Love this game. He's due for a decent game. But
yeah, I mean, the total is 49. We got some high totals. I mean, this is 49. The Kansas City Dallas game is 52, and the Cincinnati Baltimore game is 52.5. So hopefully we get some fireworks wake some people up after those, tryptophan naps after stuffing their face for, a good hour and lots of booze, whatever the hell they're doing.
So the Bengals
Maybe go outside and throw the football a little bit, wake your ass up too. But all right,
is the line moving for where Joe Burrow's back? It was a 7-point favorite a day or so.
I still see it at 7. I don't.
Is it still 7?
Yeah, I haven't seen it move.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, actually, I was looking at it. It was like 6 or 7 to me, even with the Burrow return. But I'm with you guys. I like the Lions minus 2.5. I think my number said they should win this game by 6 or 7. Now, could the Packers, could Jordan Love come alive and the defense bring it? I mean, we've seen, Goff look terrible a couple weeks ago under pressure against the Eagles. And maybe we see the same thing again. Maybe Parsons just freaking goes nuts and causes a lot of issues. That's quite possible, but I think it's a bounce back game here for the Lions. I think they'll get it going. So I'm going to go with the Lions minus 6. And then my prop was also Watson over 49.5. So I'm with you guys on Watson, and I would lean under as well. I think it's a little too high, but it could go over. But yeah, Lions minus 2.5, Watson over 49.5. All right, Chiefs versus Dallas. This is after last week, this game got a lot more interesting because Dallas beats Philly 24-21, down 21-0. And then they come back. The defenses looked good the past couple of weeks. After they picked up some pieces, they got Overshawn back. They bring in Quinnen Williams. Eberflus feels like he's getting into a zone a little bit. And we've seen Eberflus, coach those Bears defenses pretty decently. Like he had the Bears defense playing good for a little bit. And then they canned him and then it kind of fell apart. But, it seems like he's turning around this defense a little bit. Kansas City's not really exactly lighting the world on fire offensively. Good win for them last week, must win, but still another must game here for the Chiefs at 6-5 and also Dallas 5-1. So, Joe, how do you see this game going? Do you like Dallas to continue their momentum, or do you think the Chiefs just kind of take control here and get the W? And
I actually think this is going to be a very close game. I do think the Chiefs pull it out like they always do when they really need a win. I think it'll come down to a field goal. Dallas if there's going to be a game that shoots out, I believe this could be the game. Dallas offense has been cooking as of late, even though it was only, one half where they scored all their points last week. But they figured out, Philadelphia defense kind of dominated them, and then they figured out how to move the ball and get a rhythm going. So I am confident that Dallas will be able to score points. But these are, going forward, these are must-win games for Kansas City and Patrick Mahomes. So I could see, as much as I hate to say it, because I'm a Tom Brady truther, and you know how I feel about Patrick Mahomes just based on that. But you got to give the guy his credit. He these are the type of games that he steps it up and gets it done, especially late in the fourth quarter. My one player prop for this does involve Patrick Mahomes. I like him for 25 plus rushing yards at plus 108 on DraftKings. He's averaging 29 rushing yards per game, and he's hit this 25-yard mark 7 out of 11 games. And I could see him continuing, making it an 8th game with 25 plus rushing yards.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from this game. I mean, I did the spread, and it came out to I think it's -3 here for the Chiefs, and that's kind of what I got in this game. So I don't think I have anything on the side here, but Dan, we saw George Pickens emerge last week making a ridiculous catch. I mean, we've seen him make some ridiculous catches before. Just kind of still has those bone-headed plays, but he's been pretty damn consistent. And that was supposed to be the game. It was supposed to be a CD game last week because Quinion Mitchell was supposed to be on Pickens most of the game. And it didn't matter, man. I mean, Pickens is just shining. Do you think that the rest of the year he's overtaken CeeDee Lamb here?
I think so. I mentioned it yesterday. I think Dak trusts Pickens, and I think it's his go-to guy right now. I think in other games they might force CeeDee the ball, kind of Devontae Adams treatment with A-Rod, but I think you guys both said it. Dallas's back's against the wall. Kansas City's back's against the wall. They are going to pull out everything they can. I think George Pickens is the way that Dallas wins this game. They're not going to win. I don't think they're going to win the game running the ball at all against Kansas City. So it's going to be CeeDee. It's going to be Pickens. I'm gonna lean towards Pickens. He just name a receiver that looks better than George Pickens right now. The speed, the agility, and his head's in the game, and that's what we didn't see in Pittsburgh. So, absolutely, we're going to be talking about these lineups here in a few minutes for our Thursday teams. That is a big decision. Are you going Pickens or are you going CeeDee? I'm gonna lean Pickens. CeeDee might actually be the underdog in that match, or for ownership, I should say.
I agree.
Dan, what do you think here? I mean, do you think this total again? Joe, he says he likes this game to be the shootout of the week at 52.5. Dallas's defense is playing better. This is still a tough matchups for the Chiefs. I mean, for the Cowboys offense against the Chiefs defense and Spagnuolo. But do you see this game being a high scoring game, or do you think it's going to, maybe be in the 40s?
I think so. I think I had it as the highest scoring game. When I looked this morning, a point more than the Bengals game. I think it does have the best chance. I think it goes over 50. I think the total should hit. With Andy Reid's backs against the wall, he will pull out every stop possible. And then we saw, like you guys said, one of you guys said, Dallas against Philly. Me and Josh were talking last week about how we were scared to play Dallas players against Philly. And it took them a quarter and a half to figure it out. But if Dallas figures it out, they're going to be scoring. Kansas City's going to be scoring. And I'll just go ahead and kick it over to my prop. I think Kansas City's not going to run the ball that well. Mahomes at 267 is his over. I would play it up to 300. I think Mahomes is going to play lights out. I think the Chiefs are going to drop 27, maybe 20, 26, 27, 28 points. And hopefully it goes over. And for my Fanball DFS teams and for my Thursday teams, they are based around Kansas City and Dallas being the highest scoring game of the day.
So that means like Xavier Worthy possibly as a sneaky play.
I like Worthy this week a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I don't know how much Pacheco. I see Pacheco and Kareem Hunt doing in this game. So yeah, maybe you lean towards the receivers. Joe, did you drop your prop in this game, or did I miss that?
I did. Patrick Mahomes 25 plus rushing yards.
Okay.
Got plus 108.
I like that as well.
Okay. Yeah, I like
that.
Yeah,
he's hit it in 7 out of 11 games. He's averaging 29 rushing yards per game. And, just based on the fact that he's going to be doing everything he can to get them to win, I could see him easily getting 25 rushing yards.
Okay, Josh, how do you see this game going?
I don't know if I see it being the shootout. That I see where it can definitely be a shootout. Dallas's defense, I mean, they got the players in at the trade deadline. They made some moves, and then they lost their teammate, unfortunately. And that defense is playing super, super inspired. And I mean, they look like a totally different defense the last couple of weeks. Like they're coming after it. I mean, they gave up points to the Eagles early, but they bounced back. The Chiefs defense is playing really tough. So, maybe it hits a close under and doesn't quite get over that 52 mark. I don't know. But the one player that when I was looking down through the props, the one player that jumped off the board to me was Xavier Worthy. His catches over 3.5, and it's plus money. It's plus 112 for him to get 4 catches. And I think Xavier Worthy could have 4 or 5 catches pretty easy in this game. I think both teams are going to have to pass the ball. We'll just see how the quarterbacks can do.
Yeah, and Dallas's run defense has been pretty stout the past couple of weeks too. They held Genty to to like 6 carries for 7 yards. And then Saquon was just, we all expected Saquon to go off, just 10 for 22. So, freaking basically they've held 2 back-to-back running backs under 2 yards per carry on 16 carries. So it's pretty damn good. Joey, what do you think here?
I think, unfortunately, Kansas City wins. I'm not a big fan of them. I'm not, never have been, but I think it's going to be a game of 2 halves. And what I mean by that is I think if Spagnuolo can get into Dak Prescott's head a little bit, force some turnovers, Patrick Mahomes can get up on him. And my prop is passing 280 yards plus 115. I think they'll run the ball to keep that Dallas offense over on the sidelines in the second half. To keep the lead, because this is a must-win for them, and it's a must-win for Dallas. But Steve Spagnuolo to me is the key to it, and he's a Hall of Famer coordinator. But and also I like Hunt at 40+ yards at plus 117. Dallas is 25th against the run based on DraftKings, and I think they'll try to keep that offense over on the sidelines. I mean, you don't want to go up against Pickens and CD, which I'm like you all. Pickens is the man, but I think lower ownership will be for CD.
Yeah, agreed. Probably, basically, CD had the bad drop. We saw him screaming on the sideline. Pickens has been going off. So, yeah, if you want to play the contrarian play, it's probably going to be CD. Are you concerned about Pacheco coming back here? Should be fresh. He's been out the past couple of weeks, but still, it's an MCL injury. It still could be there. It could be lingering a little bit. Do you think that, hurts Hunt a little bit for the rushing yards? Or do you think the Chiefs are really just going to have a nice lead in the second half and be able to really sit on the ball and run it?
That's what I believe. That's what I think. I think they'll sprinkle in both of them. I think Hunt will get the most majority of the carries, and based on how fresh Pacheco looks, but I think it'll be those two, and then probably Hunt at the goal line as usual.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Dallas's defense, his run defense has been stout the past couple of weeks. Who did you have for the passing yards? Was that Dak?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, Mahomes, 280. Okay. 280. And Dan, you said you got 267 on that?
267 was FanDuel for his over-under.
All right.
We'll go with that then. I'd look at DraftKings, what I look at.
Yeah, definitely shop those lines if you can. In Florida, all I have is Hard Rock. So I only have one freaking book, but I can go offshore here, Bovada, some other things. But
and also I know like y'all talking about Dallas tough against the run, but when you got Patrick Mahomes behind center, it just opens up a little bit more lanes. Is he going to run? Is he going to throw or make one of these crazy passes? Kansas City's offense, even though they not look good, but you still have to respect them, and they're hard to defend at times.
They're gonna so basically what I got out of you, Joe, is they're gonna use the old New England Patriots style offense. They're gonna pass to open up the run.
Yeah.
Defense has to come through though. The defense has to do their job against Dallas in order for that to work.
Yeah.
Andy Reid versus Eberflus here definitely seems like a mismatch. Eberflus was feeling pretty confident last week, though. We'll see how confident he's looking on Thursday. This could be, Xavier Worthy going off. Maybe Hollywood Brown had some big catches. You could sneak him, and maybe Tyquan Thornton catches a bomb. Throw him in your DFS line. I could definitely see the Chiefs kind of putting it all together on offense. Maybe Bashard Smith. Maybe Andy wants to put a little bit of Bashard Smith finally. Forget about the CH and the Dameon Pierce. But, we'll see. The 52, when I first saw it, I was kind of shocked, but yeah, I could definitely see it going over with the way Dallas, played in that second half against a tough Philly defense. And, Andy Reid could definitely put something together too, but I think I'd lean the under, but yeah, it could definitely go over. I think the one bet I had here, I didn't really like too much, but I'll go Pickens anytime plus 115. He's going to get those looks in the end zone. I think he'd come down with it one. So that'll be my play here. All right. Anything else you guys wanted to add before we go to the last game?
Good.
Ready to go?
I think we're good, Steve.
All right. Sunday night football. This was added on 5 years ago they started doing this
Yeah.
game. Maybe a little bit longer. I mean, by that time, you freaking stuffed your face, you shot out. You got to make sure you have the coffee or a nice espresso, wake your ass up, like I said, or go outside and, throw the football around, get some fresh air or something. But we'll all make it through this game, hopefully. And it's, obviously Josh and Dan will be hyped up for this game. They'll be sugared up or, espresso coffeeed up or whatever, because their Bengals are getting Joey Burrow back. Joe Flacco, once you start seeing the pick sixes from him, the wheels start to fall off. And it's just crazy how he just looks good for like 2-3 games and then he just falls apart. I mean, it just happens every single time. So Burrow is out there, their season. I don't know. Do they still have a chance, outside chance to win the division and maybe make it? I mean, possibly. We saw them go on a crazy run last year, but just came up short. Can it happen again? We'll see. But T. Higgins is likely going to be out with the concussion. Jamar Chase is going to return from the suspension. Baltimore 7-point favorite. Another high total, like I mentioned before, 52.5. Dan, I'll go to you first here. How do you see your Bengals performing here with Joey Burrow back? And do you feel good about, using Joey Burrow right away in this matchup, first game back?
I mean, if you save Joe Burrow to this point, you almost have to play him, but I guess it really depends on your options. I have seen some really good NFFC teams with some really high quarterbacks and grab Burrow cheap 3-4 weeks ago. So really depends on the matchup. I want to be honest, and I haven't talked to Josh about this, so I don't know how he feels at all, but I really feel like this is going to be a letdown game. When I saw the over-under at 51.5, I thought that was way too high, with especially the way Lamar's looked the last couple of weeks and them just not putting up a ton of points. Me and Josh go to Vegas every single year, and for 5 years in a row, week one, the Bengals have looked like crap. And Burrow coming out, first game back, he only played a game and a half this year. I really hope he comes out looking great, but I just feel like they're going to start sluggish, especially without T. Higgins. They can take away Jamar Chase, and then it's going to be the Yoshi and Gesicki and Chase Brown catching underneath passes. So I wish I had more excitement. Honestly, as a Bengals fan, I wish we weren't playing Burrow. We're 3 wins. We'd have to win out and get a lot of luck from the Steelers to even think about the playoffs. I am excited to see Burrow. He's obviously my favorite player, but I don't really have high aspirations for this week. Maybe Josh could talk me off the ledge a little bit on that one.
I was sitting here and Steve was talking about Joe Burrow being back, and I was getting pumped up. I was like, you know what? Joe Burrow is coming back, and I'm wearing the jersey for the first time in 10 weeks, man. Like, this is awesome. And then Dan he just brought me right back down to reality. I don't feel good about it. I mean, when you've been a Bengals fan as long as we have, and we've seen it over and over, and unfortunately, as good as Burrow can be, he does start out slow. And, one thing that is really rough about Burrow is he takes a lot of sacks. Flacco didn't take a lot of sacks. So, that's something I'm interested.
Flacco starts
he's getting rid of the ball. He's
skipping it away.
The ball.
Yeah.
But one thing I hope that Burrow picked up on some things from sitting back and watching Flacco, and hopefully he dumps the ball off to Chase some and doesn't try to throw it downfield and force the ball to Jamar. And with T being out, I'm like, Dan, he's got to utilize Gesicki and Fant. They'll work in Hudson and whoever else at tight end. They'll get all 3 of them out there. But I look for him to try to get Jamar or to get Chase Brown the ball on some short passes, maybe on some screens. The Ravens defense, since they've gotten healthy, have been playing better the last 3-4 weeks. And so, maybe we have to use the short passing game to get as kind of an extension of the run. So I went on my prop. I went Chase Brown over 3.5 catches. I think that's doable. It's -114 on FanDuel.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, the Ravens have won the last 4 matchups, 35-34, 41-38 in overtime, 34-20, and 27-24. So 3 overs over this current total. The last game, Higgins was out. Chase went nuts, 11 for 264 and 3 touchdowns on 17 targets. 11 targets for Chase Brown, 9 catches for 52 yards. So there you go. And Chase has pretty much gone off in every one of these last 4 matchups, I think, except for one. He was kind of held down. But at least we have a sample there with Higgins out last year with Chase going nuts. Do you guys see Chase going nuts in this game, or do you think, or do you just think it's going to be like, his receiving prop is 91.5. Do you see it going over there, Dan?
If Burrow has enough time, then yes, I think so. And even going back a couple years farther than that, Steve, I mean, Jamar Chase has absolutely owned the Ravens for going on 4 or 5 years now. I think he gets over that, but it might take him 8 or 9 catches this week.
Okay. Yeah, actually, I like that a little bit too. The Chase prop over 8.5 receptions is plus 140. So that's better odds than the 91 receiving yards. So I kind of like that with the plus odds. Joe, what do you think here, man? How do you see it going?
So I do think that Baltimore wins the game. Ultimately, it's going to be Cincinnati's defense that does them in. They can't stop anything, especially tight ends. I do see Baltimore utilizing both Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews in this one. That's my prop for this game. Is I like Isaiah Likely to go 40 plus yards. That's at plus 210. And I also like his longest reception over 15.5 yards. That's at minus 110. Both of those odds from DraftKings, of course. I think Derrick Henry will be able to run at will against Cincinnati. They just what Baltimore does well on offense is what's been absolutely destroying Cincinnati's defense. So I think ultimately it does them in. I could see it going over the what is it? This could be another shootout, like you mentioned, Steve. When you read off the history of games, it's all been shootouts. I do recall Jamar Chase having pretty good success against Baltimore. I do think that Joe Burrow will look to him often. I think he can probably get those 8 or 9 catches that Dan was talking about. I think he's going to really lean on him, especially with T. Higgins out. I like the Chase Brown prop that you guys were talking about as well. But I just think when it comes down to it, the Ravens, they got a nice little winning streak going. They have a better chance of winning this division than the Bengals do. And I think that they're just going to go in there and take care of business. Lamar Jackson, although I'm not crazy about him, when he plays against bad defenses, he looks good. So, but I do see Baltimore winning this game, based on how bad Cincinnati's defense is. And I gave you my prop. That's kind of how I see it playing out. If I gave a prediction on the score, I would say Baltimore 33-21. Maybe 24. McPherson can hit long field goals, so I'll give them a field goal score, 33-24.
The Bengals have only allowed one receiver to go for 100 yards. It was Amon-Ra St. Brown all year. It's the tight ends. I mean, the tight ends are just absolutely abusing the Bengals every single game. 13 touchdowns allowed to tight ends. That's 6 more than any other team. They're in first place there. So, I mean, it's every single week. And we just saw Hunter Henry, who, hasn't done anything basically for, 2 months, go for 7 for 115 and a touchdown. And, Darnell Washington was like, tossing guys around.
Yeah. I seen a lot of people have Mark Andrews ranked 2 in their rankings. And I get the excitement, but he hasn't been used high volume. This is why I like Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely is going to get action this week. Mark Andrews hasn't had those 8-9 catch games since like a year or two ago. And, do I think that, Andrews will probably has a better chance of getting a touchdown than Isaiah Likely. But I do see Isaiah Likely being utilized. And, I may even – I looked at his receptions, but the books got him like the odds are so juiced until you get to 5 receptions. So that's kind of pushing it. But 40 receiving yards, that seems doable.
Yeah, Andrews is ranked 6th on the consensus fantasy pros this week. Likely is at 21. I'll probably be bumping him up a couple of spots there at least for sure with this matchup. And Likely has been getting snaps too. So, he's kind of due for a big game. And again, for whatever reason, the Bengals don't allow much to the receivers, but the tight ends are just eating them alive. Dan or Josh, any reason for that? Are linebackers just terrible on the Bengals?
Well, Logan Wilson was the best we had to cover tight ends. And, we benched him like after week 5, I think, week 6. He just wasn't doing it. And then sent him down the road to Dallas. I don't know. I feel like it's been a Cincinnati thing for years. We've constantly the tight ends have been the ones that hurt us. I'm sure Dan probably remembers better than I do, but I don't know. I don't know why so much the tight ends, but. Yeah, whatever our scheme is on defense, it just leaves the middle wide open for those tight ends.
Another thing I'm looking at here. Go ahead.
So I think part of it too is DJ Turner is one of the highest ranked quarterbacks in the league, and he's basically shutting down whoever they put him on. So maybe by default the tight ends are getting it because that number 1 wide receiver is being taken away, a la Diggs last week.
Is DJ Turner following guys, or is he just kind of playing one side of the field?
Each week's a little different. I think he shadowed like 60% last week. I didn't look at the numbers.
So he'll be on Zay then a lot this week.
I would think, which I didn't get to say my prop was Rashad Bateman anytime touchdown because of that exact reason.
Is Bateman expected back in this game? I know he missed last week.
Practice today.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so that's big. What I was going to say was it seems like the Bengals also allow a lot of receiving yards to running backs too. Gainwell had that monster game, 81 yards. Isaiah Davis had 44 yards, 31 to Warren, 57 to Jacobs, 33 to Gibbs, 40 to Harvey. 64 to Dylan Sampson in week 1. So, maybe Justice Hill or maybe even the Derrick Henry prop. Maybe they get him a screen or something for the receiving overhead.
I just actually got an update, Steve, on Justice Hill. Hurt his neck in practice. He's been he's hit with the questionable tag. So okay. I don't know if that's going to make
maybe Keaton Mitchell then. Maybe Keaton Mitchell. Yeah. Whoever's out there healthy, maybe look at the receiving prop. Joey, what do you think here, man? How do you feel about Joey Burrow and the Bengals? Again, the Ravens have won the last 4 matchups. Do you think the Bengals are due here?
I think they are. It just depends. Is Trey Hendrickson out? Is he out again?
Yeah. I think I will go out on a limb and say that you've probably seen Trey Hendrickson for the last time in a Bengals jersey. I think he's just done. I think he'll be questionable and be ruled out every game the rest of the year.
I think this game will be – I think it goes under. I just don't think Lamar looks right to me. He ain't running like he normally does.
Yeah.
Like Josh and Dan saying how slow Burrow comes out, basically like a first game. This could be a big Chase Brown game. And I think, Jamar Chase going to get his shots. I think it'll be under, and I think Baltimore may win on a field goal but it could be, like I said, Lamar don't look right to me. I mean, I think he's scared ever since he hurt his hamstring. I think he's afraid to run. And, a lot of his production comes from the run. And Henry's been doing a little bit more. And I think it'll be a close game, but just because of a divisional game. But I think it hits the under. I really do. I like Baltimore to win, but I hope Cincinnati does win, but Baltimore probably pulls it out. And that big Derrick Henry game, they keep him off the sidelines too. Keep Joe Burrow and Chase over there. I think they'll run a lot. And I like what you say about Justice Hill, but if Joe said he's questionable, that hurts a little bit too.
Yeah. Yeah, Lamar definitely doesn't look healthy. They're like they have like a dedicated rest day for him. You know, he's definitely not playing 100%. I mean, we haven't really seen, I don't know, maybe since week 1, like Lamar game where he's just had like those 3, 4, 5 touchdown game. You know, maybe we get it this week, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe Cincinnati's defense is playing slightly better, and they are due. I think I would lean the Bengals here plus the 7, but I don't really have a play here on the side. And for the play, I like Andrews anytime touchdown minus 110, maybe likely plus 240. Chase over 91 receiving yards, and that Chase over 8.5 receiving plus 140 is the more better value on that bet. I just think Burrow is just going to feed him. It's his first game back. He's going to have to go to him. I like the Chase Brown actually too. Guys, I think that's a good call. I don't know if I trust Yoshivas. He really hasn't looked that good to me. He's had a lot of drops this year too. And, maybe Gesicki could throw him in there. He might have a nice game. But I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts, Josh or Dan, on Gesicki this week or the tight ends here for the Bengals with no T. Higgins?
Gesicki does well when either Jamar or T's out. I think it's like roughly it's about 6 for 60 is what he averages when one of those receivers are out over the last year and a half that he's played for the Bengals. I'll give you a tight end for the Ravens. Is it Kohler? Is that his name?
Yeah. Jolly Kohler. Yep.
They'll dump a touchdown pass to him. He'll at least have an end zone target in this game. I'll say that's just it's the way the AFC North works. Like when the Steelers got 3 tight end touchdowns against us, it could very well happen again with the Ravens.
He's the sole reason why I don't like a likely touchdown.
If they're inside, we'll say inside the 10 or maybe at around the 5, you're going to see a Kohler touchdown target. If the Ravens get around the 15, that's when you see Mark Andrews. And other than that, it's Isaiah Likely getting the touchdown. But that's a long shot for Kohler, but I say you can throw that in there if you're wanting something to juice up your parlay, Joe. You like to juice them up. So there.
Yeah, no, that's why I don't like Isaiah Likely anytime touchdown, because it's going to have to come on a big play. Like you called it, you nailed it. Mark Andrews from the 20 or the 15, it could be Charlie Kohler or Mark Andrews inside the 5 or around the 5, inside the 10. And I just think Isaiah Likely will be the chain mover. And that's why I like his receptions and yards prop more so than a touchdown. But it's a good call. Good call, Josh.
Now, I had the same prop as what you did, Joe. I had mine wrote down Isaiah Likely.
Yeah, I know you mentioned it on the phone earlier today, and then that's kind of why I looked into it a little bit. But
so I pivoted. I went to Zay Flowers 70+ yards at 107.
Man, he's due for a big game, Zay Flowers. I mean, he hasn't had like a big game, like a truly big game. He's due for a monster game. He hasn't had many of those in his career. I mean, even that one game, was that 2 weeks ago? He caught that pass, and I was surprised he couldn't get away from the defender on that. I don't know if he's like more quick than fast.
Probably
that's the case, But yeah, I was surprised he couldn't score on that catch a couple weeks ago. So we'll see. But yeah, he's due for a big game. But again, the Bengals have only allowed one freaking 100-yard game to a fantasy receiver this year. So we'll see if Zay can go off. Bateman may steal another touchdown from him too. Bateman just seems to steal Zay Flowers' touchdowns all the time.
The one thing that Zay does have for him is he lines up everywhere, and he's good underneath, and that's kind of seems to be where Cincinnati struggles is underneath. So
yeah,
I will say that. But the one thing that worries me about Zay is getting game scripted out.
All right, we got Jamie is here, by the way. Shout out to Jamie for joining us. Says Happy Turkey Day.
He is a turkey.
Yeah, shout out to you, Jamie. Have a good one, brother. We got a question in the chat. Then we'll get into this lineup. Should I drop Ertz or Loveland for Brenton Strange? Joey, you take care of that one.
I would probably drop Ertz because I'd rather have, I probably would drop Ertz. I would probably keep Loveland. He's moving up the ladder, and he's getting more snaps and overtaking commit. And then Strange is a good one to have, I think.
Yeah,
So
I'm with you on that one. Do we all kind of agree that Ertz is the drop there for Strange?
Yeah, I think I agree as well. Colston Loveland seems to be consistently in the 5 to 8 target range going forward. I feel like they eliminated Zacchaeus.
McLaurin's probably close to coming back too, isn't he?
Yeah, that's another good point, Joe.
All right. Yeah, Terry sounds like he's on his way back for sure. All right, let's get into the lineup now. So this is the Turkey Day Bonanza on NFC. This is where all 5 of us play the majority of our fantasy football leagues on. At one point or the other, we all kind of graduated into the high stakes game. So, I'm glad that Joe kind of brought, you guys on to, have a little bit of a fellowship here, and we could all kind of, group think together and, strategize together, which I think is great. So thanks, Joe, for that. Thank you guys for, again, joining the show every single Monday. Appreciate it. But yeah, $10,000 grand prize. Now you could pick pretty much this. There's no salary cap here. You do have to pick one guy from each of the 6 teams in this lineup. So it's 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 3 receivers, a tight end, 1 flex, a kicker, and a defense. So does anybody feel strongly about a particular quarterback here that we should go with?
I was talking to Josh earlier about it. We each have a couple teams we're building, and to me, this is going to be really chalky, but I think it's Mahomes. I mean, do you guys disagree?
Not at all. I was kind of leaning Mahomes myself.
Okay, I'm good with that. Anybody want to veto that one?
No, I'm good with it.
The only other argument, it's got to be either Mahomes or Prescott. I don't even think you can argue Goff at home in this one, just because I think it's going to be such a Montgomery Gibbs game, to be honest with you. So,
what about Burrow as like a little bit of a control? I mean, it's not really. I mean, he's going to be lesser owned, right? Probably as his first game.
I actually think he's going to be higher owned than what people expect.
Lamar might be the contrarian play.
That's what I think too. Lamar could be really sneaky.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, bad defense is just what the doctor ordered for Lamar.
I think the thing that sucks about Lamar, though, is he doesn't, like Joey was going into, he doesn't seem healthy. So he's not going to give you that rushing floor.
Right.
Yeah. I was going to say, you are banking on him
Yeah.
throwing for 3 touchdowns if you put him in your lineup. I don't think he's going to run for 80 and score a touchdown with his legs.
Exactly. I agree with everything y'all said. The only other contrarian one, and I know y'all don't like him, but is Jordan Love is really, I mean, if I would pivot back to anybody, I think, I think he could throw 3 touchdowns in this game, but, you're going to have a lot of chalk in this, like, say, Gibbs, for instance. We about have to have him in the lineup because you can't really pivot to Montgomery, but I'm like you, I guess Mahomes. But if I was going to maybe go contrarian on another build, I might go Love just to get that, hopefully, say a 30-point performance at the 1 o'clock game. That would be like, okay, and match him up with like a Watson or something. Or
yeah, no, I don't mind that as a contrarian either. But I think we're all in agreement here. We'll just go with Mahomes and we'll go with the Chiefs stack, I guess.
Yes.
All right, running backs. Joe, what do you think here? Anything that stands out to you?
I like Derrick Henry. Other than Jahmyr Gibbs, I like Derrick Henry.
Okay. Well, we got to put Jahmyr Gibbs in there, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think so.
as chalky as it is.
You almost have to chalk the running backs and be
You
different at the receivers.
Okay. All right. So we got Gibbs in there. Do we want to go with Henry or do we want to go with somebody else?
Let me take a look. Just
One guy could be really interesting would be Emmanuel Wilson if Jacobs is out.
Exactly.
But you have to have Jacobs out.
and Chase
Right.
Brown is not bad either. But maybe consider him for a flex when we get to the flex spot. Maybe consider Chase Brown.
Because Gibbs is going to be your highest on, and probably Amon-Ra or Jamar Chase is going to be your two, or Pickens. Them three is going to be your highest on, probably. I would guess in the wideout. So I would think.
Yeah. We didn't talk about Dak though at quarterback. I mean,
I said that there's the only contrarian play for me outside of Mahomes is Dak.
oh, is Dak? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I mentioned that, but we didn't we didn't really get into it.
Yeah, I kind of like the Dak. I mean, you could go with CD and Pickens, which is pretty damn nice too. So
A double stack would be contrarian for sure.
Yeah. I mean, you feel good about throwing those two receivers out there. All right, so we'll go Gibbs and Henry. At receiver now, what do you guys want to start with here? Do we have to throw Jamar Chase in there?
I think we do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so too, because I mentioned it and then you mentioned it, Steve. He's going to be leaned on.
Yeah. All right. How about at receiver for the Chiefs? Do we want to go with obviously Rashee Rice is going to be the number one guy there. Unless you guys want to go contrarian and go Hollywood and Xavier Worthy. I mean, we could throw another one of these Chiefs receivers in there too if you want. What do you guys think here?
Got Kelsey as well.
Yeah, I was going to say
Kelsey as well. Yeah. Do you guys want to take Rice out or do you want to leave him in there?
You got to go with at least him or Kelsey, one of the two.
Yeah.
What
If you want to be contrarian, you could go Worthy with Kelsey or something like that. But I think Rice is going to eat.
Yeah, I mean, he should.
Yeah.
Especially against that Eberflus zone defense. I mean, that just seems like a match made in heaven. I mean, they could kind of bracket. They could kind of bracket him a little bit, but that's like where Rice thrives. Those little 7-yard crow routes, and just gets those quick hitters, and he breaks those big plays from that. So.
I don't mind both Rashee and Kelsey, to be honest with you. If we're leaning into Mahomes being our quarterback, I think we got to chase the upside.
All right, so we got one more receiver here. We got CeeDee Lamb, we got Pickens, we got J-Mo, we got Amon-Ra. Christian Watson was one we kind of talked about that we think could have a good game this week.
Right.
Zay Flowers possibly, Xavier Worthy. What do you guys think here?
The flex spots where we're going to have to win it at. I think. Do we all bypass the Amon-Ra? I mean, it's tough. I mean, you need to go with Amon-Ra.
Your team's got to tell a story, and if the Chiefs are going to be scoring a ton of points, I think you almost have to throw CD or Pickens and take your pick.
Right.
Or you could be really crazy and throw both of them in there.
Yeah, I don't mind that either.
Hope for a 60-point game.
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
That's really putting it out there. I mean, if that game bombs, then it's over. But
statistically, Amon-Ra's worst game, and I'm only saying this because he did have worse receptions and receiving yards against Philadelphia, but he still had 12 targets in that game. Against Green Bay, he only had 6 targets, 4 catches for 45 yards in week 1.
How about Jameson Williams? I know everybody's going to remember the 0 this past week.
Yeah. He should be low owned.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm fading the Detroit, all the pass catches from Detroit.
If you're going St. Brown, you could almost justify putting Goff back in there. I mean, if you have Gibbs in there too, that's where I was fighting myself earlier.
Right. At least it's fun, but they're tough.
I don't know. I mean, we could put Worthy in there, and then put one of the Cowboys in our flex, or put one of the Cowboys in there receiver and put tight end, Kelsey in the flex as well. If you guys want to just stick with that game, or obviously we could go even more chalk with Amon-Ra.
I'm kind of liking Chase Brown in the flex.
Okay, yeah, I don't mind that either.
That's a good choice right there too.
Chase Brown flex, Travis Kelsey tight end, and Pickens or CD, either or both.
You only got room for one.
I can't see. What do we got so far at wide receiver, Steve?
If you're putting
we got Chase and Rice so far.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we do only have room for one.
Yeah, one. We got one. We could put another one in the flex if we want. If we don't put Chase Brown in there.
Right. Okay.
Well, I'm really thinking, does CD have a better game than Pickens? Even after what I said earlier, do they just force him the ball?
I think that's who would ever think CD would be the lower on? Everybody's so.
Here's the thing, though. Do you guys think CD has a ceiling in him with George Pickens present? Like the kind of ceiling he had when it was just CD?
Yeah.
He's like, his floor is nice. He could probably, he's almost a guarantee to get you between 10 and 17.
I mean, Pickens this year has the upside. 2 30-point games, basically 4 30-point games this year. And like I said, you guys were doing the show last night. Like, he's kind of like the new Dez. Like, that's what Dak used to do with Dez all the time. Just throw it up to him, and Dez would come down with it.
Yeah.
And we just saw that was one of the best catches of the year last week by Pickens. I mean, that was ridiculous. I mean, he's going to be chalky because of, we're playing the past couple weeks, and then everybody's messing up on CD. So, all right, let's move on to tight end. We can come back to that.
We can come back to that.
What do you guys think here? Andrews, Kelsey. Do we want to go with one of the Baltimore tight ends here? Likely, maybe? Or do you guys want to stick with Kelsey?
I'm thinking Kelsey might be just because we have Mahomes.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think this would be a game that they maybe lean on Kelsey a little bit. Maybe Rice and Worthy can catch a few passes and get that middle of the field opened up for Kelsey. And then he's always good. He's always good for an end zone target and a gadgety, red zone play. So, I mean, he's a tight end that I don't know. You just keep waiting for him to have one of those really big games if he's got one left in the tank.
He's had some big games. I mean, I'm looking at his numbers now. He's got in 2 of the past 4 weeks, he's gone over 20 points.
Over 20.
And I'm gonna use this narrative. How do you guys like this? I think he's got some goofy turkey touchdown dance fucking up his sleeves, just waiting. Yeah, I'm gonna throw that narrative in there too.
Chiefs are 5th best against tight ends, tied for 5th best. They held Warren to 5 for 45 last week. Kincaid was like the only guy that really went off on him, 6 for 101. Laporta had 5 for 55 and a touchdown too. So I don't know.
I think if you look at our lineup so far, I think a lot of people are going to have this very core.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be contrarian, you go away from Kelsey, you put Mark Andrews or Ferguson or something like that in there.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to hit the nuts, and you got to hit everybody's ceilings. So you're playing 600 people. You got to do something different. I don't know what that is. Just throwing it out there.
You got to get the right defense.
Cowboys are also tied for 5th against tight ends.
We have to keep in mind we got to have one from each team too. Right?
We still need a backer.
Yeah, you got to have one. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 teams so far.
We'll get a Cowboy. We got to figure out where our Packers at.
Yeah.
Josh said this earlier, but Aubrey might be a game winner for a kicker. I mean, this might be.
Yeah.
He
You
might
guys want to
drop.
go with? You guys want to go with Likely and just hope that he just goes nuts?
I've mentioned that.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't hate that.
We've got the core.
I'm confident and likely myself. I'm gonna do a lineup on my own as well, and I was probably gonna sneak him in there. That's kind of a little bit of the reason why I wasn't pushing for Likely, but absolutely love Likely for sure, guys.
If Likely outscores Kelsey, we just jump the field on all of that.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. I mean, we got to take a shot. What are you going to do? You're going to get
Yeah,
600.
We're going to put him in the tight end spot. Okay.
Yeah. All right. You guys want to go back to receiver and fill that out before we get to the flex?
The flex will be crucial, I think.
I think you got to pick one of the two Cowboys.
What team are we leaving out so far? The Bengals and the Packers?
Green Bay and Dallas.
It's Christian Watson a good flex in the morning session.
Oh, we got Jamar Chase. That's right.
I like Christian Watson a lot this week.
I do too in the flex. Or we could go with him in the wide receiver. It don't matter. And then go with one of the Cowboys. Well, no, it depends if we go Aubrey. Well, we can go Aubrey.
You guys want to put Watson in the flex? I mean, the wide receiver. Everybody good with that?
Watson and Likely are different enough that Watson and Likely make us unique, I think.
I do. I think so too.
All right, I'll put Watson there. We could change it later if we want. We'll review it one last time. All right, flex here. Joe says he likes Chase Brown. Obviously, we have a lot of different options. If Jacobs plays, we could throw him in there. He'd probably obviously be the second best running back. We could go with Montgomery. Joe does like him to score.
I don't like his fantasy ceiling though.
Hollywood Brown, J-Mo, Pickens.
So right now we got Watson, Rice, and Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
I think you have to go George Pickens in the flex then.
Or big contrarian and go CD.
You can go CD too. I mean,
it don't matter.
Or you could go J-Mo. I mean, J-Mo has that ceiling too.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean that's a big one.
He's gonna be low owned.
Zay Flowers is another one. Worthy. Again, he does have a ceiling. I mean, he's a big play threat, but it just seems like Mahomes can't hit those deep passes for whatever reason. Like he keeps overthrowing them, and he's just not connecting. I mean, Worthy's had his highest total was 17 points all year. So I don't know. I mean, it's a good matchup.
We got the AFC Jameson Williams and the NFC Jameson Williams. The same player. I mean,
I gotta clip that one. I like that. J-Mo's highest total was 23 against Washington. 16, 23, 19, and then a donut. He's had 2 donuts, week 7 and week 12, which is crazy. He's like feast or famine basically. All right, what do we like here? Do you want to go Chase Brown or are we looking at something else here? George Pickens or CD?
I have a hard time, like like Dan said, with your lineup. You want to tell a story, and I think I guess we didn't add another Chief in there, so I guess we don't have to go Cowboy. If we completely fade the Cowboys offense, I think that's going to be very different.
It'd be good to bring back.
If we completely fade the Cowboys offense, I think we should go with the Chiefs defense.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but doesn't that limit our upside then? I mean, if we're saying the Chiefs are going to dominate the game, then it could be like a Hunt Pacheco game, right?
Ooh. That doesn't even make my turkey taste good.
That's what Joey was saying in the second half. He likes the Chiefs to sit on the ball and run it.
Kareem Hunt, maybe could he fall in his zone twice?
I think, if we're all, I think we all kind of hinted at, we all kind of like it to be the most high scoring game. So maybe a bring back with either Pickens or CD, or we could go, Chase Brown as well. I don't think is a bad option. But do you think Chase Brown outscores Pickens or CD is the question?
I wonder what
he does a lot of catches.
Yeah, I think if CD Lamb doesn't have the drops, then maybe CD can have a game. But I mean, Pickens, it's so hard to what we've seen Pickens do. It's really hard to leave him out of the lineup.
See what I like about it too, like in the 8 o'clock game, we've got Henry on one side getting points, Chase on the other side of the ball getting points, and we got Likely. We need something. If we're chasing points at the end, at least we got points on each side of the offense, whichever team's on offense. So I like, if we're chasing, that's just like with CD and Pickens. Do we want to keep gaining points in that Kansas City Dallas game? Because we may be coming from behind because there may be a lot of people go contrarian with Green Bay and Detroit. Trying to get that big lead in the first game, and we'll have to play catch up.
Well, maybe CD was still hung over from that Vegas trip.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time for CD to bounce back. I don't care. It's up to you guys between one of these two. Somebody.
So I'm looking at the matchups right now, and CD Lamb is projected more snaps against Roland Wallace, and that's a poor matchup.
Okay.
George Pickens is projected more snaps against Jalen Watson, and that's a matchup advantage according to this data, according to the PFF data. So
how about Ferguson?
I mean, they're both ranked pretty high. Watson's 11th out of 113 cornerbacks, and the guy covering CD is 16th.
And they got McDuffie too.
Yeah.
Who's really good. The consensus rankings on Fantasy Pros, Lamb is 7, Pickens is 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
All right, let's just we'll throw Lamb in there based off recency bias. I guess we could change it. Kicker. So we have to go with one of these teams we didn't pick yet.
Aubrey
Packers. You want to go Packers defense?
We picked everybody.
We did.
We got Watson.
Oh yeah, we got Watson. That's right. All right. So who do you guys want to do at defense?
I hate to say it, but I think Baltimore's the best defense out there.
I think we should. Yeah, I would say Chiefs or Green Bay for me. I think.
The problem with the Chiefs is they're gonna have to have the sacks. They're gonna have the. It's tough because I do see Dallas scoring points. I mean,
and that's why I say Baltimore will get 4 or 5 sacks on Burrow.
Yeah, and probably an interception.
I've seen that story too many times.
All right, you guys want to go with Baltimore?
I'm listening. I'm going to side with the Bengals fans on this because they.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that. Joey, you good with that one?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Albert in the chat saying Green Bay defense.
Yeah, no, that's the based off what we saw from Goff a couple weeks ago, and then Parsons is coming to town. It's not a bad one either.
I don't hate Green Bay either, guys.
Parsons wasn't in that first game when they played this year, was he? He was.
That was week 1, so no.
Because I do like that.
He was there. He was there.
I do like
week 1. Okay, he may be in.
I think he played limited snaps that game, didn't he?
Didn't he? Yeah, he came in and got a sack on like one of the last plays of the game or something like that. Yeah, he was having back spasms that week or something crazy.
Yeah, maybe you get a sack fumble there.
Does anybody? I mean, Burrow has come back from injury a bunch of times. Like, I know he usually starts the season slow, but how is he when he comes back from injury? Is he any different?
Has he ever come back at the end of the season? I can't remember. He's had so many injuries. Usually it's season ending.
Usually, yeah, that's usually
what
usually
happens?
the beginning of the year. You're right.
What happens if he gets re-hurt or he just doesn't feel comfortable and they pull him and they put Joe Flacco out there?
I think Flacco's going to be inactive, guys. I think it's going to be Jake Browning.
That's right. Wow. Flacco is hurt, right?
He's got a thumb injury and whatever his other injury was.
So do we got to do? I think we should have to factor in that scenario. No, what do you guys think?
What's that?
Joe Burrow leaving the game for whatever reason.
Joe Burrow leaves the game. Don't even worry about calling me because I'm going to be drunk.
I liked it so much better about a half hour ago when Steve was talking about the Bengals because I was really feeling good for no reason at all other than he was just pumping me up.
We've been here, Josh, for 42 years.
Here's the thing. So no matter what me and Dan think, this is the way this works. Joe Burrow is going to come out, and the Bengals are going to do just enough that maybe they pull out a win against Baltimore. And then nobody expects them to do something against Buffalo, and they do that. Now all of a sudden, all of Southwest Ohio is going, you know what? If A, B, C, D, and E happen, we might make the playoffs. And you get that little glimmer of hope. And then that's when one of our stars go down. So it's very possible that Burrow can come out and play and have a good game. But I can see him feeding the ball to Chase Brown, but having an interception, taking sacks. I don't think he gets hurt. I mean, I think he's fine.
Okay.
How about Lions defense? Is that in play against Jordan Love? What if Jordan Love implodes a little bit?
Could very well happen.
Al is saying Green Bay. Do we want to go with Al's pick and just blame him if they suck?
Damn it, Al. You cost us $10,000.
Yeah.
Or we'll throw them something if they come through, maybe.
Yeah,
I like Green Bay too.
I'm thinking it's got to be either Green Bay or Baltimore after we just talked all that out.
Yeah, because if you look at it,
didn't we all pick the Lions to win though? So wouldn't that make more sense to pick the Lions?
Probably.
Yeah.
Points against you don't get a ton of points in the NFFC. To me, it's much more about sacks and opportunities. I don't care how many.
That's what I was thinking.
And a touchdown because
Yeah. So who's most likely to throw a pick six?
Love.
Is JJ McCarthy out there?
No. He's seeing ghost.
I hate to say it, but I think Dak is most likely to throw a pick six.
He could definitely throw a pick six, I'm sure.
And Deron Bland is due for one. He used to have all kinds, didn't
he? Yeah.
Contrary.
No, Goff under pressure. Yeah, Albert might be onto something. I think I think that we're because the game is in Detroit, we're kind of underestimating what Green Bay defense can do, even in Detroit. Because Jared Goff, Green Bay, their strongest trait defensively is getting after the quarterback.
Orlowski just said they're a bottom 5 pass blocking offense right now too. About the Lions.
Yeah, I think I'm sold on Green Bay.
All right, kicker.
With that.
Aubrey. I don't like Bates. I don't like Bates because Campbell goes for it on 4th down all the time.
Agreed.
McManus stinks. Buckner's great kicker.
I'm leaning Bucker. I was just gonna say, Steve, based on
I take one of the 4 dome kickers over the Cincinnati Baltimore kicker. Just because it's outside.
When I build my teams, especially if I think is going to be a high scoring possibility, I try to connect the quarterback and the kicker. So,
I look at it. Kansas City's a good defense. Dallas is a good offense. They're going. If you get midfield, you're in Aubrey's range, and he can get you a 50 or 60 yard. 5 or 6. At a time, I guess I look at Dallas offense ain't going to get stalled out all the time, but Kansas City defense is decent enough to shut them down.
Just the way I see the game playing out, I think it stays close, and that's kind of why I like Butker.
Yeah, Aubrey's only.
It's probably contrarian. Everybody's going to probably have Aubrey.
Yeah, everybody's going to have Aubrey.
Yeah.
But I mean, 2 kicks and Aubrey can get you 14 points.
Yeah, that halftime kick can get you 7 right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Aubrey hasn't been over. He's only been over 10 points once since week 3. That's surprising, actually.
I guess that's where Dak's been getting a lot of touchdowns.
If Kansas City builds this lead that you talk about, Joe, in the first half, is Dallas going to be settling for field goals?
They're going to be going on for it on fourth down.
How about Loop? He's been over 10 the past 3 weeks. And Lamar's, maybe they stall out a bunch. Who knows?
They may not have to. They may not have to score touchdowns to beat the Bengals. They can kick field goals and win.
Yeah,
man, that hurts to say that.
Yeah, he's over 10 4 of his last 5 games, Luke.
Well, let me ask you this: do y'all want to go? I mean, contrarian again, like Joe said,
Buckner,
McManus. I mean, Detroit's got a decent defense, and Green Bay's got a so-so offense. I mean, do y'all trust him enough?
Yeah, I don't know. McManus does miss a lot of kicks. That's the only thing I like about McManus. All right, we'll put Loop in there. It is a kicker. It's not going to make a huge difference. But all right, is anything we want to change here? We have Mahomes, Gibbs, Henry, Chase, Rice, Watson, likely at tight end, CeeDee Lamb, Ravens, kicker, and Green Bay defense. Anything?
Steve, you got to take that back, because I think if Chalk ends up winning this, the kicker is going to be the difference.
I know, but they're so hard to freaking predict kickers. It's like, it's like fucking, But anyway, he's been the best one out of all of them. He's been over double digits.
Did you check Hoff's rankings? So maybe we should check Hoff's rankings.
That's what I was getting ready to go to.
No, I didn't look at him.
He's my go-to guy.
What does he got? Who does he got the highest?
He ain't got his rankings out. He's just
he didn't do it yet.
Damn it, Hoff! What the hell are you waiting for?
Well, we could change it. This way, nobody's going to copy our lineup. We don't know. You don't know what kicker we're going to put in.
Right.
Bring it on.
Hey, that guy is good at projecting kickers. I look.
Yeah, I mean, he looks at all the stats. So he's studying it.
Him and I. So I didn't DM him or anything, but I had already went and picked up Borregales a couple of weeks back, and then like a day after the waivers ran, Hoff put out his rankings and he did a post and he's like, Borregales is my favorite kicker this week. And I was like, all right, I feel great about it now even more. And he actually tore it up the last couple of weeks too.
Yeah, he's good. He's been big on Cairo Santos all year for the most part.
The only thing that sucks about Santos is you don't have a distance. He's great. He's accurate as all hell, and the Chicago offense always gets field goal attempts.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing I see on this lineup, guys, if we think the Ravens are going to get stopped at kicking field goals, do we switch Derrick Henry out for Chase Brown? If you're saying there's kickers, then there's no Derrick Henry. I mean, you could have both. I shouldn't say that. But
Chase Brown might be better. He's gonna get more catches, so he might be safe from.
And then we think the Bengals will be playing from behind also.
Right, and we're banking on an Isaiah Likely monster game too. Right.
That's why this contest is so tough. If they added the second quarterback, it would be totally be different. It wouldn't be as hard. You could get to all your pieces, but having the one quarterback and then you start moving everything.
This is why I say Butker because it just makes more sense with Henry and Mahomes.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna do the Baltimore kicker, then Chase Brown does make more sense.
Right. And do we?
And I do think that they probably score around a similar amount of points. You know what I mean? It's going to take 2 touchdowns for Derrick Henry to outscore Chase Brown.
And he's going to get the PPR points in
Right.
the pitching game more than what Henry's going to. He can make up ground.
Unless Baltimore completely blows out Cincinnati, Derrick Henry's probably not going to do like 180 rushing yards. You know what I mean? In 2 touchdowns, I could see. So, and I do think it's going to stay closer than people think. So
we could go with McManus too. I mean, it kind of correlates with our Green Bay defense.
Yeah,
that's another one. But I don't mind. Go ahead.
I was going to say the only thing about McManus is Green Bay's offense, man. The misses in just Green Bay's offense in general.
Yeah.
It could literally just be like 1 or 2 field goal attempts and nothing more. Like,
all right, should we erase this whole lineup and start over?
Yes.
You know what? Let's just buy another team. Let's just buy another team.
I think Joe's got one.
One thing we didn't talk about at all. I don't think we did. Is that I think P. Ryan's back this week for the Bengals.
Yeah,
and he took a lot of the catches away from Chase Brown before he got hurt. So, how much does P. Ryan get in the game? And Burrow loves that guy for some reason. God.
Yeah, that's not good. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So do you guys want to stick with Henry then?
Yeah, I think we should stick with Henry.
Okay. All right. I think the P. Ryan was a good point there by Josh. All right. So, we're good with Henry. We're good with Gibbs, Mahomes, Chase, Rice. Do we want to throw Pickens in there? Do we want to take Watson or Likely out? Do we want to make any last-second changes here? Anybody want to speak up and feel strongly about anything, or should we just leave it and run with it?
Maybe we leave it and roll with it, or maybe we make a couple changes on Thursday morning.
That's right.
Not on air.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We will be making.
You can roll out. You could put Pickens in for Watson or Worthy in for Watson and tell a better story, I think. And I love Watson this week too.
Yeah, Watson could just be an outlier though. Like a naked Watson. Like it doesn't have to tell a story.
Yeah,
we all like Watson. It'd be Dobbs in the end zone, won't it?
Yeah. Oh shit. That's the exact name I told Josh today. That's the kind of guy that'll win this tournament. Is Dobbs.
Or we could, Jaden Reed comes back. We can maybe throw him in too. All right. I think we'll save it and we'll roll with it. And so this is it. Mahomes, Gibbs, Henry, Chase, Rice, Watson, Likely, Lamb, Ravens, kicker, Loop, and Green Bay defense. So we're banking on Christian Watson and Isaiah Likely to take us to the 10K, I think, here.
I think so.
But both these guys have obviously shown a lot of upside in the past. Likely's had some monster games. Watson's had some monster games. It just hasn't happened in a long time. But, we'll see. I mean, this is the matchup for Likely. And, Watson certainly could go off in this game too. We just saw Wan'Dale Robinson just went completely off against this Giants defense last week as well. So, this Lions defense. So
it's indoors too, and it's indoors.
Yeah.
All right. Is saved. All right. That's it, I think. Almost 2 hours here. I want to thank everybody. Does anybody want to add anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, we'll do this again in the NFFC hold 'em. We'll do the whole season.
That is my favorite contest in the world. That playoff contest.
We'll do
we could also do a draft too. Fantasy postseason. My friend actually owns the site. He bought it from they've been around for like 20 years. We started doing our NCAA tournament on there, but you could do a draft on there and draft players. And we could have our own league. Maybe we can get another 6 people. We could do a live draft when the playoffs come on. That'd be a lot of fun too. Yeah.
Don't twist my arm.
Yeah. So guys,
the playoff drafts are fun. I like that, Steve. That's a good idea.
Oh yeah, 100%. So stay tuned. Hit the like, subscribe button. We'll be back Monday. The guys will be back Monday. I'll probably be joining them for a recap of week 13. In the meantime, everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the family. Enjoy the food. We have a lot to be thankful for, obviously. I'm sure we're all missing some family members that we'd like to be at the table. So prayers up to everybody. God bless. We'll talk to you all soon. Have a great, great Thanksgiving once again, and enjoy the games. It's good to live in America. Nice country, right?
Absolutely.
That's right.
Take care.